Hi, this is Reverend Sean, the Basic Buddhist, and I'd like to talk more about the Four Noble Truths today. Remember we did that last time, kind of the concept of how the Four Noble Truths were put together, being that the first one is that there is suffering, the second one, there is a cause to suffering, the third one, there's a way out of suffering, and the fourth one, describing the way out, which is the Eightfold Path. But today we're going to talk about suffering. Suffering in the Buddhist context, well, in every context, is a very common thing among all creatures. Everyone has suffering. Not like we're all suffering right now and we're all in misery or anything like that. It's not really that kind of thing, but it can be for sure. This suffering we're talking about in the Pali would be called dukkha. Dukkha means unable to satisfy or unable to cure. So in that, or not unable to cure necessarily, but unable to satisfy is really kind of the best way to explain that word. And what that means is, when we have suffering this kind of way, it would be like dissatisfaction, perhaps. Not being around people that we enjoy, our family members. Not having the things that we need, warmth, clothing. It could be just dissatisfaction or suffering and not being able to care for oneself properly. So we can all appreciate these kinds of things, and in Buddhism we try to work on our compassion and develop that compassion for others, and also for ourselves. Now in the Four Noble Truths, many people think of it as a beginner's concept. Well, it kind of is, but it's a stable base concept which helps us develop understanding, compassion, and appreciation for impermanence. So once we kind of have that stability there, we can go on to other different applications of Buddhist study, different applications of the practice, if you will. But in the first one here, we have to determine and to really understand and see for ourselves and for everybody else that there is suffering. Even a spider or an amoeba or a plant all are subject to this kind of suffering. Plants will move towards the light as opposed to in the dark. They don't grow as well. They like to be in the light. That's a form of, they want to be better. They want to have a better life. Really, one of the best ways it was put to me was every creature, every being wants to live into the next moment comfortably, to avoid the suffering. So they're all trying different ways to do so. And a lot of times it's trial and error. A lot of times it gets greedy, almost like fearful, like how can I do this? If we look at animals like crows or coyotes or birds or anything like that, we see that they have lots of suffering because they're so afraid of being eaten by something else or being chased or being shot or being hit or whatever. And also they're so afraid that there's not going to be any food available for them, so they go for the first thing that they can. They're constantly in search, they're constantly looking, they're constantly trying. There's a lot of suffering in there. People are the same way. We may live in a house full of with a refrigerator full of food. The rent has already been paid, the electricity's paid, everything works, but still we suffer, we worry about these things. We worry a lot. Some people practice worry, and they get very, very good at it. So in our concept here, we're going to talk about suffering as a thing that we all do, and kind of acceptance that there is suffering around us. And how can we get out of that suffering? By one, acknowledging what it comes from. It comes from wanting it to be different than it actually is right now. So the big part of the meditation process and the practice that we do, we say practice as in things we do every day. People who practice worry, people who practice fear, people who practice aggression get very good at it, and it's very quick to come up. But people who start to practice compassion, and people who start to practice calmness, and if we start to practice relaxation, it comes to us much quicker. And we get good at it. So why not practice? It's very easy. It doesn't take any work. Just a little bit of practice, some time. Anyway, this is the Basic Buddhist, just going over one more concept in basic Buddhism. Next time we'll go over the second noble truth, or maybe expand on this one, we're not sure. Second noble truth is the cause of suffering, which is craving, and we'll go over that one. So hopefully not craving too much right now. Go for subscribe, and we'll see other videos. And don't forget, you can ask a question or make a comment down in the comments section down below, and I'll answer them for you. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye-bye, and take care.